I'm shivering, and I can't tell if it's because something strange is going on or if it's because of the dream I just had. Because I'm standing alone in the kitchen at 1:15 in the morning and I just dreamt about baby Rachel. I dream about her a lot, for the half-sister I've never met. I mean, we haven't seen Dad and Lisa since they stopped here on their way west, except for a couple of letters. Rachel was about 5 in my dream, and I was telling her a bedtime story. But then suddenly, the lights went out. Rachel wanted to know why. It's because of the moon, I told her. She giggled. Why would the moon want to make the lights go out? She said. So I explained what happened. I told her how in May an asteroid hit the moon and knocked it way closer to Earth and how nothing has been the same since. It's crazy how quickly everything can change. One moment something can be going horrible for you, but then maybe not long after something can be going a lot better. And of course, vice versa. Honestly, change affects our lives every single day whether we like it or not. It could be good change, but it could also be bad change as well. In this story, Miranda and her family go through a huge change that will probably destroy their lives forever. However, they know that they have to stay together and that they have to persist with their family, because if not, then it can only just make everything worse. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you This World We Live In by Susan Beth Pfeiffer. I told baby Rachel that it changed our gravitational pull and that there were tidal waves that washed away entire cities, earthquakes that destroyed highways, and volcanic eruptions that threw ash in the sky, blocking out all of the sunlight. What's sunlight? She asked. I started shaking. That was when the dream turned into a nightmare. I suddenly couldn't remember what sunlight was. It was the worst dream ever. I haven't seen sunlight in so long, I can't even remember what it looks like. Now, it's Monday, which means we're supposed to get our weekly food delivery. However, we waited all day until the sun went down, but still nothing. Every small noise we heard, we all jumped, but it was nothing. By that time, we knew our food delivery guy, Mr. Dansworth, wasn't coming. Me and my older brother, Matt, went into City Hall the next morning to see if there was anyone there, but it showed up as closed and only open on Fridays. Then we'll go back on Friday, Matt said. Then we'll figure out what to do. We'll have to leave, I said. Maybe we should anyways, find John a school. However, Mom wants us to stay as long as possible, but what I'm thinking is if there's no food, we can't stay. The following Friday, when me and Matt went back into the office, Mr. Dansworth was there. He was sitting in a chair. We're not delivering anymore, but here's your share for the week. I didn't even know what to say. I mean, there are people that rely on the deliveries, that have to get them. But I guess that's how it's going to be from now on. The next day, we had 4 hours of electricity, smack in the middle of the afternoon. Longest stretch of electricity I can remember. But me and Mom had an argument. John and Matt went fishing and she wouldn't let me go. And after all of that, everything's always Marina's fault, right? Always my fault. Insensitive, uncaring, she screamed. Overbearing, playing favorites, I said. After that, I ran out of the house with my bike and I just kept going and I didn't stop. I thought of all the stupid things I've ever done, this was the stupidest because I could die and no one would even know what would become of me. And then I just lost it. I cried and I cried 6 months worth of sorrow and anger and fear. I couldn't stop. I was hungry and I was lost and suddenly I wanted to go home. Of course, I knew Mom was going to be furious. She sent me down to the cellar to clean it and then gave me a huge bag of fish to put into the garage. So I grabbed a pathetic, half-full bag of smelly, disgusting, unclean fish and went out into the cold, dreary rain just to find out that I'm locked out of the garage. So I was stuck outside in the cold rain until Mom finally came to her senses. When I got to the garage, I realized that I didn't even have a key to the padlock. I hate this. Everyone is always in such a crappy mood. We can't do anything. I can't go to school. Mom can't go to work. I can't even see my friends. I mean, not that I have any friends anymore anyways. I mean, I hate this way of life, but you'd think I'd be used to it by now, right? And then just what we didn't need, a cold spell, came on the next morning. We already didn't have electricity to turn on the heat, so now I'm gonna be freezing even more. Sometimes it snows in the spring, Mom said. But it's the end of May. It never snows this late. It's so close to summer. But then again, it's always cold now. I still haven't heard from Dad. It's been months. I mean, honestly, I wasn't even sure if he was still alive, or even if he was still with Lisa, or even if they had their baby or not. I was scared. I missed him. The following 2 days was the anniversary of the asteroid hitting the moon. I've lost so much this year, I can't even get used to losing people. Some have died, others have moved on. I mean, it almost doesn't matter. Gone is gone, right? It was a terrible night, too. It started raining and it didn't stop. It was cold and it was windy. We haven't had electricity in days. We're all eating less and less to try to conserve our food. We're all getting thinner. Even Horton, John's cat, is barely eating. Honestly, I can't remember the time I was in a good mood. It feels like all I do is crab and walk around and mope around for myself. Matt and John are going to chop firewood. I guess it's starting to become summer, even though it's still cold and rainy. Well, at least we're able to have wood for the fireplace to keep the house somewhat warm. But then, I saw Dad and Lisa and their baby. Lisa said his name was Gabriel. I was almost stunned it wasn't Rachel. I had a dream about baby Rachel. It was kind of surprising. I always wanted to have a baby sister anyways. There were 2 guys with them and a girl. Alex and Julie Morales were younger kids, probably closer to me and John's age. Julie closer to John's age, and probably Alex a little older than me. The older guy was probably in his 30s, I'd say, named Charlie. But there was 11 of us. My first thought was, how are we going to feed everyone? Did Dad really expect us to provide food for all these people? We would go hungry so quickly. But I mean, I couldn't believe Dad was back. It's been so long since I've seen him. I mean, maybe we can all be a big family. I knew that as long as we stuck together, everything was going to be all right. I know that there's a lot of us for now, but I feel like we can make it work, because our family always does. As hard as it is, we don't really ever give up, no matter what. That is one thing about my family, even when things just suck sometimes.